Hi, I'm Graham Walker. I joined the shed in February 2022 and in August of the same year I became a trustee, also the treasurer.
Hello, I'm Simon Farr. I'm one of the trustees of Crewe Men in Sheds stroke Shedders, here to help the members, not only just to help the members but help to run the shed and help fundraise and help people out with obviously disabilities.
Right, Men in Sheds, first of all, basically it was started in Australia. It was started in Australia in 1993 by a lady named Maxine Chesley, and she became the first shed coordinator. It was rolled out in Australia then in 2003 and it became international. It came to the UK 13 years ago, and Age UK got funding to open Men in Sheds on a national basis with the aid of lottery money, and obviously we were one of the original ones 13 years ago, and we've gone from strength to strength.
Men in Sheds is basically a nice safe haven. That's from my point of view and what I've witnessed. It's a safe haven for people with disabilities, depression and anxiety. And there's a lot of people out there that do suffer with that. It was basically aimed at men, because men don't talk and they suffer alone. And as the shed's been open, I have noticed that a lot of the blokes do open up. When they come in, they're stressed. When they come in, their anxiety's up really high and they don't know what to expect. But as you see them go through the day, you can see a big, massive difference with just the actual body reactions to things. You see them come in with a slump down in the dumps, and through the day you see them laughing and joking, and that's what I class is the best medicine anybody can have.
Obviously, Men in Sheds is aimed basically at people with mental illness, physical disabilities, anxiety problems, loneliness, or people who just want to come and mix with a group. We don't turn anybody away if we can help it. We welcome everybody. If they want, just come and have a cuppa, they're quite welcome. Because whatever goes on in the shed stays in the shed. Men basically don't talk about problems at home. But in the shed, they can come and they can talk shoulder to shoulder. While they're working on something, they can actually tell people next to them what's wrong with them. What goes on in the shed, like I said before, stays in the shed. The atmosphere, the laughing, the joking, and that's what the shed's all about.
When I started the shed, I was in a wheelchair, and that was due to having a major stroke in 2012. I started the shed in 2014. I come out of hospital in 2013, so I was at home nearly for 12 months. Basically stuck in a wheelchair, couldn't do anything, couldn't get out of the house, couldn't do nothing. I did try, I can honestly say as now, but I couldn't then. I did try to commit suicide, and all because of the stroke, the way it affected me, and me looking into the family, how it affected my family. I've got 3 boys, and I didn't want them to see their dad like I was. Same with my wife. When I was stuck in the house and I was going on a downward spiral myself, there was a neighbour that introduced me to the shed because he saw little things that were happening when he saw me outside of the house. He said, "That isn't Simon. Simon's not like that." So he had a word with the wife, they had a bit of a chat together, unknowns to me. He introduced me to the shed. Now bear in mind I was in a wheelchair when I come to the shed, and when I come in I thought, when I got here, something triggered within my brain, the bit that I've got left, because I've got a quarter of my brain that's working the whole of my body after having my stroke, and that strong bit must have just got a bit stronger, and it was amazing. It was like somebody just gave me a lift. I got out of the wheelchair and walked to the bench, not actually walk, but obviously with an aid, walking stick, holding on to things, which I've never thought I'd do. I was told I'd never get out of the wheelchair. I was told a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to do, and I've managed to do it. The people that were at the shed at the time, and they're the ones that have helped me to the person I am today. And that is why I want to put back in to the shed what the shed has given me.
Right, I struggled in probably 7 years ago to start off with. I broke 4 ribs and they didn't mend properly. After they'd mended, I broke some more ribs and went to the hospital, and I still suffer with them after 7 years. I heard through one of the doctors about men in sheds, and in 2022, like I said, I joined Men in Sheds, and they said it would be good to take my mind off this chronic pain that I'm suffering from. I joined Men in Sheds, never looked back. I mean, look at me now. I hate to say it, but my whole soul is for Men in Sheds.
And I love it. And I will not stop. I'll keep going until I drop down myself, because I see the camaraderie, the happiness, the love, and it is love. It's like a second family, the Shedders are. Everybody helps each other, everybody's there for one another. The shed is here for every member.
Well, since we took over, basically before we took over, ladies were not allowed in the shed to start off with. When I did all the fundraising, obviously I put all about diversity, equality and inclusion, and that included bringing ladies into the shed. That helped us to get funding to start off with, and the growth with members since we took over. We now have 36 ladies, for instance, on the book. Before we had none. Men, we now have over 86 members on the group, which has been a dramatic increase in membership. Like I said, that a lot of the members came with mental illness problems. By being in the shed, they've opened up. They came with no knowledge of how to use machinery. They get inducted into machinery, and you've seen that people like Andy, and Andy's a typical situation. Andy doesn't mind us mentioning his name. When he came, he was, what can I say, that he'd had a stroke and he was a bit withdrawn, and now if you look at the case studies that we have on PowerPoint that his wife wrote, he's so open now. He started to talk that he didn't talk before. He expresses himself. He's fantastic at making clocks, pens, things like that. Before, he didn't do a thing. He sat at home in bed all day long. Some of the other members, the lady members, suffer from anxiety, never used machine in their life. Now they come here, it's great. And I know I keep on about case studies, but people have to read the case studies to see how far we've improved since we've taken over.
What I've seen with some of the members that have come into the shed, there is a couple that I can really highlight that I've noticed a massive change. He come into the shed and he just stood at the door and he didn't say a word, he just stood there, and his wife was behind him and she was like pushing him in to go in. The gentleman is slowly getting into serious dementia. Him and his wife heard about the shed through Leighton Hospital. They advised him to come. He didn't know what the hell to do. I went over to him, spoke to him, introduced who I was, what the shed was about. He still didn't want to come in. It took me 15-20 minutes to encourage him to come in. Within a week, I can honestly say that man was basically skipping through. He was telling his wife he wants to go to the shed. He had a purpose. We got him laughing and joking. Basically, he was taking a mick out of one another. He didn't know what to do when he come to the shed. He didn't know nothing about wood. A bit like myself when I started. And now, well, the stuff he's doing.
The entire shed, to get it running, is down to fundraising. Since I joined, my old policy has been to help the group to grow, to get money. My past as a sales manager for a large franchise organisation, then as a operations manager, give me the skill to go looking for funding, what to write, how to do PowerPoint presentations, how to do proper letters. Before I took over as a trustee, I was sending so many letters out. We went on a holiday to Anglesey, for instance, and for 4 days I sat in the cottage that we rented doing nothing but sending emails to companies trying to get funding. Age UK told us in 2021, before I joined, that we're going to stop funding. The funding then came through a company called JTI, Japanese Tobacco Industry. They sponsored 4 Men in Sheds, and one by one they take the funding away, leaving Crewe with a year left to go. In that time it was up to us to prove to Age UK that we'd got the funds to take over. Without that, this place was going to shut in August 2022. I spent hours and hours and hours doing the funding or applying for the grant from Bentley Cheshire Community Fund. If we obtained it, wasn't coming through until September. If I had to gone back to Age UK and say, I've applied for this grant, can you please give me 2 months to see if we've got it? They owed us some money at the time, so they paid the rent for another few months. Then we got the news that I'd won Bentley, and the cheer that went up in the workshop was absolutely worth all the while that I'd done, all the hours I'd put in. That one cheer and the clap and everything that went round, believe me, it was well worth everything I did and still do. We applied for other funding, which I'm happy to say we got lottery funding. Then one of the predecessors had started applying for the co-op funding. I took that over, and apparently they told me if I hadn't put about lady shedders, we wouldn't have got it. And again, it was all about inclusion. And we keep trying to fundraise, we keep sending many letters off, and Simon, God bless him, does all the local raising, like speaking to all the local DIY places, and he's brilliant at getting power tools, screws, nails, wood, you know, and we work together. If it isn't for Simon, we couldn't run this place like we do. We work as a team. When we go home at night time, we don't stop. It's a good job we both got good partners, because without them we couldn't carry on.
The trustees, we haven't got any volunteers unfortunately, but all the trustees are volunteers. Nobody makes money from the shed. The shed is basically self-running, self-sufficient. So everything that is made in the shed is sold for the shed. The members do make stuff for themselves. They do make stuff for the shed. We do a lot of things for the community as well, so the community get involved, and that's how they donate money to us. So we have little bits of donation, so that helps. And it all helps pay for the rent, the electric, the upkeep of the building, the upkeep of the tools. We also get tools donated. Well, it's just basically just the trustees that are running the shed, and the members help run it because we get everybody involved. We always keep everybody up to date with everything that we do. So the members do know what's going on, so they interact with helping with the fundraising, which is brilliant. You know, we do little store markets. We've got a community hub in Crewe. We do that every 2 months, and that is a massive response. We get a lot of feedback from there.
Local businesses, of course, can help a couple of ways. They can either help in donating money or products to us. Products so we can carry on making things to make money to sell. Obviously, giving us money towards paying the rent, rates and everything else we have to pay. Without this, or without them, we couldn't carry on. Skilled personnel, it'd be great if we could attract more into the shed. What we have done over the years, if we've lost a lot of skilled personnel through illness, God forbid them passing away, and you know, we've lost a lot of the people who've made gates for us, benches for us. We've lost that skill set. We need that skill set coming back, whether that could be skilled tradesmen coming and teaching the guys how to do it, showing them how we can obtain everything to do it. I mean, the wood and everything else is no problem, it's just skills required. Unfortunately, I was never good at woodwork at school. Since I've been here, it's tremendous what I've learned and what I actually can teach the others now. And it's all about mucking in together. Simon's brilliant. I know I keep on about Simon, but Simon does all the inductions for new members, shows them how to use the machines. Without Simon passing them, then they can't use the machines. They have to be inducted on the machine. There is quite a few of them who are not allowed to use certain machines because we don't feel they're safe enough to do it.
If any members or any volunteers or skilled people want to come to join the shed or get involved with the shed, we don't turn anybody away. We've got a Facebook page with all our details and information on. We've got a website not up and running yet, but on its way.
By telephone, the telephone number is 01270 748 645. email address is crewmeninsheds.cio2022@gmail.com.
We do have leaflets handed out through Crewe Market every second month on a Wednesday. So if anybody does want any information, please come and see us.
Or just come and knock at the door. Everybody's welcome. What we've got a application form. If people want to get in touch with us about becoming a trustee, we do ask that they do a safeguarding course, which we will pay for, because we have to have safeguarding for vulnerable adults. We also ensure that everybody's got a DBS check.
We're always asking for members to come, and skilled people, because obviously the skilled people, the better, because then we can obviously improve our skill and share the skills. Would be brilliant. You know, we've got everybody that's got different skills, but obviously somebody's got better skills than others. And come and join us anytime, please. And thank you very much for your time and listening to what I've got to say. It's been a great pleasure.